Not gonna lie, this right here is the biggest boxing fight, money-wise, that can be made right now. I'm not being hyperbolic, I'm being dead serious about this, okay? Because Jake Paul, like him or not, okay, you can think of him as just a simple YouTube influencer. He's been on a tear. I'm pretty sure he hasn't lost yet in his most recent competition. Okay, Anderson Silva, you know, that Anderson Silva. And I understand, all right? There's some holes to pick in that one. The fact that, you know, Silva's, 42 years old, and he's kind of definitely on the downslope of his career, whatever it is. His first boxing match in well over a decade or so. But regardless, he still won that fight. I think he's 6-0. I think that's what the record is. And he's all right. He's decent as a fighter. But now, this is going to be interesting because he's going to be taken on. It looks like, at least negotiations have been started. Because I've seen this from a while back, and this isn't exactly the newest of news that's out there, but I got my take on this one, okay? This is the first time I've had the opportunity to talk about it, and you guys know I'm a big old Tate fan, okay? He's one of those guys that I consider to be a good role model for men. And I know that sounds crazy, right? But I actually listen to his content and not the fucking clips that take him out of context. So I understand what he's talking about, okay? And he practices what he preaches. And the long and short of it is, inside of a boxing ring, he has way more experience than Jake Paul, okay? Because Andrew Tate, like him or not, you can disagree with some of his takes on things. He is still, at the end of the day, a legit 4-time world champion kickboxer. And I know what you mean, okay, kickboxer. And you take a look at some of his fights that are out there, okay, and he's got hands. He's got hands for fucking days. But a lot of his offense is also predicated with a bunch of leg kicks, high kicks as well. And I understand that's not going to be on display right there. But he's going up against, again, like, he's probably the best of that class, but he's going up against an influencer who, and this is going to be my unique insight on this one, okay, who is probably at the end of the rope, okay, like at the end of this influencer boxer thing, like it's getting so big where you don't need the big star anymore. You have a bunch of other people making a whole lot of money, and he can come back because he already has his built-in excuses on this one. Oh, look at Tate, okay, Tate, 4-time kickboxing world champion. There's no shame in losing to him. If he makes it competitive, that's all fine and dandy. And then, of course, he was also in the corner of his brother, Logan Paul, who is making, because he can't fucking win to save his life inside of a boxing ring. So he's over there in WWE. He's got this contract, okay, and he's made some statements beforehand because they went down to Saudi Arabia and whatever, Logan Paul there, and for whatever reason, he got put at the top of the card against, Roman Reigns there. Christ, I forgot the name of him. That's how irrelevant the Fed is at this point in time. But regardless, okay, I seen a couple of quotes from Jake Paul. He's like, "No, I'd love to go do this. I seen what my brother was doing, and oh yeah, you're gonna see the Paul brothers as champions." So it's like, he's really got nothing to lose. This is the biggest fight that is out there. And Andrew Tate, he's got size on him. He's got experience on him. Tate is only 30. He'll be 36 in December. So he's not no old fucker, okay? And he's not also beat up as well because, yeah, he last fought in 2020. But he still keeps in good shape. And you can see it even in the square up. Like, Jake Paul, he's got a chance because he is a decent fighter inside the ring. But he's not Tate. This is a big fucking fight, okay? Because, yeah, as you can see, his recent fight, Jake Paul's recent fight with Anderson Silva, garnered only 200 to 300,000 pay-per-view buys. What do you think? Somebody who's been going back and forth, like the Tate brothers and the Paul brothers have been bickering back and forth, not just this year, but this goes back a long fucking time. Like, there's a built-in rivalry right here. This is going to be big fucking business, okay? So it makes a lot of sense. Tate's the one with a lot of stuff to lose right here. Because Paul, he's got all of those built-in excuses right there. He has the career that he can just easily transition to off the back of this. This is just an opportunity for, I guess, Tate to show that he still has it. But we'll just do a recap on this stuff because I find it intensely interesting. After hints of an impending bout between Jake Paul and Andrew Tate, a YouTuber turned pugilist, sort of, all but confirmed the fight on social media by sharing a face-off with a controversial former kickboxer. The tweets included videos of shirtless Paul and Tate stepping up to each other face-to-face inside a boxing gym. The caption reads, "Negotiations." Meanwhile, a spokesperson for Tate exclusively confirmed with Sportsmail that negotiations with Paul are underway. And yeah, if you've been listening to this stuff, you've known that he's been also talking about there being negotiations underway for better part of a couple of months at this point in time, but this is the most concrete piece of evidence that it's actually going to happen in some form or fashion. They said the potential bout between Tate and Paul is exactly what the fans have been asking for, and would be an event the world would remember. Again, like, okay, I understand that there's some high profile, heavyweight boxing fights, and thank God heavyweight boxing is finally back on the map, and UFC, like it or not, is kind of at a point in time where they don't exactly have all the stars that are out there. This right here is the biggest fight that could be put on in combat sports. I might be completely wrong on this, but you just take a look at name recognition and actual competency within the ring. I don't think that there's anything close. They confirm both parties are in talks over a fight, but have not released any details about the potential showdown. A spokesperson for the state, for state? Maybe that's supposed to be for Tate. Again, copy editor. Yeah, because this is the clip that's out there. It's just going to roll in the background. That's fine. With Sports Mail has begun. Negotiations have begun between the two parties. It's a fight the fans have been asking for, and an event the world will remember, like we know already. So yeah, just, stature-wise, like Tate is... I think he's 6'3", 6'2", or 6'3", and then he got Paul, so he's got a little bit of length on him, height-wise. I don't know about the rest of that stuff. Pause. Like, Paul, I think, has a couple of years youth on him, but when it comes to experience, like, Tate has had 70-some-odd kickboxing fights, a couple of MMA bouts as well. It will be interesting. It'll be very interesting. Paul is coming off a win over former MMA star Anderson Silva, albeit that only garnered 200 to 300,000 pay-per-view buys, the boxer promoter said on a recent podcast. Admittedly, the turnout was kind of upsetting, Paul told his brother Logan. Oh, I thought that was pretty good, but I guess it's not, but whatever. Okay, so that's why. Okay, so I guess by their standards, that was a low turnout. So ergo, yeah, just call in Tate, like the lightning rod of criticism for one last go inside the boxing ring. I don't think I'm wrong with this prediction, by the way, but it's the first time I've heard it. Anyways, Tate, 35, has drawn controversy for his online post. And yeah, that's where we're going to go with this one, because I've pre-screened this article right here, and they get a bunch of stuff wrong about Andrew Tate. So I got to clean this up, okay? I've done a bunch of videos on Tate, okay? They don't even get circulated or anything like that, because anything about Andrew Tate just immediately gets shit-canned by the algorithm, but I appreciate what he does. As for the Paul brothers, I could give a fuck what they do, okay? They're making money out there, and they're doing a good job at it. Outside of that, I could give a fuck about them, okay? They just seem like spineless fucks. Jake, a little bit less so. Logan, definitely. But yes, Tate has drawn controversy for his online posts, several of which have resulted from platforms such as Twitter. Who wrote this? A fucking monkey in an algorithm? The US, UK dual citizen, maybe a bunch of other places as well, has attacked victims of sexual assault. Not really. Claimed depression isn't real. Another reason why I like him. Clinical depression, as opposed to you can feel depressed, but actually being depressed. Tell me why you're depressed, and I'll give you the reason why you're not depressed. And has described himself as both a sexist and misogynist. That's nice that you put those in scare quotes and all that shit, but can you back up any of that stuff? No, he's sexist and misogynist. See, he says so. Paul has slammed Tate's sexism. That's fucking cute. But has also derided his social media bans as censorship. Yes, this Paul brother has. He's been pretty steadfast in that admission. Whereas his brother was more than happy to see Andrew Tate removed from all online platforms. Like, he's been off Twitter for a very, very, very long time, okay? Just when the big bans all initially came down, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Twitch, all the fucking platforms, all the payment processors, because that's what we're dealing with now in today's day and age. You step out of line, you get a little bit too close to the target, and guess what? Oh, the fucking cabal will just go ahead and take you completely off the face of the earth. Tate's kickboxing record is 76-9, while he is 2-1 in MMA. Yeah, I thought those were just a couple of exhibition fights, but yeah, regardless, 76-9. That's a lot of experience for also, and this is kickboxing, not regular boxing, not a lot of money, okay? He's actually admitted that multiple times over, and it's not really an admission as much as just, kickboxing doesn't get the same press, even though I think it's probably a little bit more exciting anyways, but that's just my personal preference. Anyways, however, he struggled as a boxer, going 4-3 with losses to 2 inexperienced fighters, okay? Yeah, and again, like I said before, like I've watched some of his highlights and I've watched some of his fights that are online, and he sets up a bunch of his offense, and a lot of it's predicated on his kicks. but I forget what point in time the boxing record was. But still, that's 7 fights. I still think that that's more, or maybe on par with what Jake Paul has done as well. Okay, yeah, Paul, meanwhile, is 6-0 with wins against novice boxers. He's also earned unanimous decision wins over Silva, the UFC legend, in Glendale, Arizona on October 29th. The 25-year-old Paul, okay, so there's 10 years difference, okay, recently discussed Tate on his brother's podcast, discussing the kickboxer's Twitter ban and the chances of fighting him. I don't think Andrew Tate should have been banned, the elder Paul said. I think freedom of speech is super important, and I think private companies should give people like him a second chance. Yeah, that's ridiculous, right? Like, you can kill somebody and theoretically get out of jail in 20 years if you get parole, but if you're banned on Twitter or you get banned on any of these big tech platforms for saying the wrong thing to somebody and somebody gets up in their feelings, you're just gone for life. And it's like, oh, that's interesting. Okay, but I don't think he ever gets into the ring and risks his alpha male appearance to fight me or Logan. Andrew Tate, you're scared to get into the ring with one of us, brother. Not really, because he's talked about fighting you guys for a long time, and you wouldn't say his name and until he started to pop off in summer of this year, and then he couldn't keep his name out your mouth. Very interesting. Okay, Tate has been supportive of Paul, who is frequently derided for his competition level inside of the ring. Yeah, he's still doing it at the end of the day. I think Jake Paul is a man who is very dedicated to his craft. Tate told a YouTuber Rob Moore, he's not just a YouTuber. Jake Paul is a boxer. He spends his life training. He has a lot of time, money, and resources. The idea that he is just a YouTuber is foolish. Jake Paul is a boxer, and he's certainly at best of all the influencers are fighting today, hands down. Yeah, I don't think there's anybody close. Like, he's dog walked all of them. And now, even though he just kind of cherry picks his other, like UFC legendary opponents, like, didn't he beat Ben Askren, who's known, who is known to legendarily have no hands at all whatsoever, and he's purely a grappler? Dog walked him. And then also, wasn't it Tyrone Woodley? I might be confusing a bunch of different people, but I think that he also fought Tyrone Woodley twice, maybe. And then, yeah, definitely his stiffest competition was ancient Anderson Silva, who, for my money, is still the best UFC champion of all time. Okay, like, nobody's ever going to dethrone that. But again, another guy who made his career with his feet. And still, Anderson Silva, not quite the Anderson Silva of the early 2010s, late 2000s, okay? But once again, Tate is right with his assessment that Jake Paul is far and away the best YouTuber, influencer, boxer that's out there. Like, it's not even close. He's also the biggest target, and like I said, okay, Jake Paul faces absolutely no downside to this fight, okay? Because if he loses, it's to a 4-time kickboxing world champion. It's to a guy who's had decades of experience on him, okay? A guy who's not aged out. It's going to be your stiffest chance to date. And then even after that, okay, I'm sure you have an open contract with WWE to go show up there because, yeah, his brother's put on a good display so far in the 3 bouts that he has out there. And obviously they're going to think that, it's going to be a big draw to have the Paul brothers there and, all that kind of fucking stuff, okay? So he has an easy walk-off fight right here. Bring in a ton of fucking money and then go do the pro wrestling thing. Totally up to him, and that's kind of what I think predicated this decision right here. And then also, maybe not being the same draw, maybe, I don't know what he was anticipating when it came to buy rates on top of that. I thought it was pretty good, but hey man, to each their own, I guess. But yeah, then we get into the Tate slander because, we don't really want to talk about what the Paul brothers were doing or anything like that. And even though, like, they got hit with Me Too allegations, which are always fucking dog shit, and I don't ever believe it until somebody brings fucking receipts. Or even, what was it, Logan Paul? Wasn't he the one who was walking through the Japanese suicide forest and then just started to cry on television? Oh yeah, that was funny. But no, all of a sudden, he's the guy who wants, Andrew Tate taken off of the internet because he's too dangerous. And whenever shit like that happens, stories like this and this disinformation continues to permeate out there. So even if Andrew Tate, most likely I would say he ends up winning this fight, if and when it does happen for the right price, obviously he's still going to be that sexist, misogynist, king of toxic masculinity. This is why influencer boxing is just never going to be a thing, because you're just going to have bigots like this up at the top. He was a champion beforehand, but no, his reputation precedes him. So let's see what CN Bull has to say about this. And I can already tell, it's like, dude, this is a publicly available thumbnail. Okay, that was from actually a really good episode of Fresh and Fit After Hours. Well, after Chubby and Selena had more pipe run through her than a oil refinery Powell got kicked out, and actually then his brother turns up on that show, and for the second half of that episode, it's actually really good. But anyways, yeah, they block out all their faces, but then they keep Andrew Tate right there because, oh my god, he's around all these women all the time, and it's like, it's a thumbnail for a, YouTube video. I don't know what to tell you, but it's nice that you censored them on something that has been viewed like at least 1 point some odd million times, but okay, cool. Protect women at all costs, right? Andrew Tate is regularly seen online posing with beautiful women. Your mileage may vary, but okay. Mountains of cash and a fleet of supercars. I haven't seen him with mountains of cash, but I've definitely seen him with supercars. It is a lifestyle that has earned him millions of followers on social media. Well, not so much anymore. Actually, what is it, like 800,000 on Rumble? I don't know what Getter's up to, but at the point in time, yes. Millions before he ended up getting canceled for what exactly? Again, this was one of those nebulous reasons where it's like, you're a dangerous person. Well, what makes me a dangerous person? Shut up. You're the king of toxic masculinity who corrupted a generation. Yeah, okay, cool. But Bill Gates, George Soros, how many other people do we need to have out there who have all the means and methods and all the influence that you want in the world that are still out there actively corrupting generations? Or hell, even the whole feminist movement that's just an actively anti-male agenda. They're allowed to be out there in full force, but Andrew Tate tells men to get better so that they have better selection over the choice of women that's out there on display, and he gets canceled. Very interesting. But yes, his diatribes against the women saw him get more Google hits than Donald Trump until he was banned by social media giants. At the time, it was more than Donald Trump and Kim Kardashian combined. Like, he was far and away the most searched person on the earth, and that's what ended up getting him fucking yeeted. Tate and his dark side. Can you point to it or anything like that? Not that one. Don't stop it. Pause. First came to public attention in 2016. Why wasn't he taken off the platform then? When he appeared on Channel 5's Big Brother in the UK. He was the first housemate to be expelled from the reality TV show after a video surfaced him spanking a sexy blonde with a fucking belt. Like, what are we doing here? Okay, they were engaged in spanking. But no. That was violence against the woman, who has since come out multiple times and said, hi, that's a thing that we like to do together. And no, that was totally consensual. But he was beating a woman with a belt on her ass while she was wearing lingerie in front of a camera that was on a tripod. Like, oh, okay, cool. And asking another how many bruises she had. Oh my god, I'm dead to rights, guys. The cigar smoking, gun toting, rootin' tootin', cowboy shooty, champagne quaffing kickboxer from Luton, England, the most notorious for his violent and abhorrent views on women, rape, and manhood. Kind of a big fucking drop off right there, but okay, even though most of his content is about, positive masculinity, but whatever. And he stands accused of inflicting his malign influence on an entire generation of young men. Oh my god, thanks that you've already, sufficiently poisoned the well with some already debunked claims, but let's continue. He later claimed that they had been a part of consensual BDSM, sex play. She did as well, and went on to leverage the notoriety he gained from Big Brother to build an online presence. Yeah, that's the reason why people go on reality TV shows, especially, ones without like a big prize at the end of it. But okay, cool, whatever. Ooh, you doing something that literally everybody else who's, a part of that scene does at the same time, but he's the bad guy for it. Because reasons? Okay, cool. As the internet burgeoned, Tate became notorious for his inflammatory diatribes against women on sites such as YouTube and then TikTok. Oh, you left out the part where he had a cam girl empire in London and later Romania. You could have slandered him with that if you wanted to, but again, that was 75 women strong. They were all there consensually. He made multiple women millionaires in the process, but no, you don't want to, actually go after the one thing that a bunch of trad cucks would probably poke holes in what he was doing. No, of course not. In one particularly shocking online rant, he argued that women must bear some responsibility if they put themselves in the position to be raped. In another, he said, my sister is the property of her husband. Yeah, and that's the short skirt, not taking proper care of your own safety. Okay, that's the would you wear a short skirt and walk downtown at 3 o'clock in the morning argument. That's the comment, or that was the commentary he was making on that claim. But you can go ahead and, again, selectively quote things that are out there, okay? And then, yeah, my sister is the property of her husband. Do we need to go back to the Piers Morgan interview in order to dispel that a little bit further? Okay, by the letter of the text, by the Quran, the Bible, whatever fucking religious text you want to pull up, okay? A woman is handed off by her father to her man at the altar, okay? Ergo, by the letter of the law, property, that's what it is, okay? Discuss at your own leisure. Men accused of cheating by their girlfriends are advised to, this is just completely taken out of context and misapplied, okay? Bang the machete, boom, in her face, and grip her by the neck, shut up, bitch, go slap, slap, bang, bang, sex. That's the rest of that clip, by the way, okay? But then that's also, funny thing, okay? Why would she have a machete to begin with? Oh, because she's trying to assault you and kill you with a machete that he keeps beside his bed for self-defense. Like, you're missing all of this stuff. If somebody comes and attacks you, okay, with a machete, you have a right to defend yourself. Okay, cool. But no, that's only against women. Okay. Like, again, I could just, pop up a bunch of other, more inflammatory things that he says, or you know what? I'll let you continue. The more controversial his videos, the more they were manipulated by social media algorithms and his audience. Hey, look at least you point that out right there. It was manipulated like you guys are doing right now. Particularly teenage boys. How can you even prove that? But okay, cool. And again, 32, but whatever, grew exponentially with no fewer than 2.7 billion social media views and more Google searches last month. That would have been July and August, when all this stuff was really popping, than Donald Trump or Kim Kardashian, both actually. To the under 30s, he is now the most famous man on the planet. Yeah, no. And his live stream still pulled just about 6 digits, so, oh well, okay. Which is why social media giants are scrambling, but so far failing to curb the online content the man has the man dubbed the king of toxic masculinity by telling men to defend themselves, to tell women that they should take better care of themselves so they don't find themselves in precarious situations. So men should just build themselves up. It's like, oh, okay, cool. So for him just saying basic shit, okay, to a bunch of people who have been disincentivized and lied to for generations at this point, for a man who lives with, he's got like 9 digits of wealth, okay? He gets to go to some of the most extravagant places on earth, okay, with red carpet service, okay, 5-star locations and accommodations wherever the fuck he goes. He's telling you the successful strategies that led him to lead the life that he does right now, and that's toxically masculine, huh? Very, very interesting, okay? And him just simply dispelling that information makes him the biggest draw against the most prolific YouTube boxer that's out there in the world. And the reason why, I wouldn't even know where to put a number on that, where that's going to be the most lucrative fight of all time. Somebody who has normally traditionally masculine values against a former fucking Vine star. What a world we live in, and what a way to drag ourselves into 2023. I'm half on board with this. But with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.